Shalom. All praises, glory, honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Chakwadash. Peace and double honor to the apostles and elders of GMS to give us his truth and all his purity. And salutations to all you I can preaching this word throughout the four corners of the earth in sincerity and the truth. I'm the brother Yahweh. And this lesson we'll be covering, the whole situation with this guy, P. Diddy, and his indictment. And, this is the Heavenly Father visiting the heads of Israel. We're in the last days, and one of the things Yahweh Shah said would happen in the last days is exposure. He said that there is nothing secret that should not be revealed or made manifest, and this is what's happening. From the truth being exposed, globally, to the deeds of, the wicked among our people being exposed. Everything is coming out, and he's not gonna be the first or the last one to go. We're getting ready to see a lot of these other celebrity jakes get thrown under the bus by these elites as a means of distraction from their wicked deeds. Because this is mainstream news. They're saying that, people in Hollywood, they're all shooken up, that their names is going to come up in investigations and stuff like that, but they don't go into, the whole Epstein thing. It seems like this should just die down. He had a black book full of different names, which, a lot of the names that came out, but they're not going to make as much of a big deal about it as they're doing with this guy, Puff Daddy. P. Diddy, because, he's an Israelite, he's a Jake. So, Jake, they always got to make Jake seem like they're the worst of the worst. Meanwhile, Epstein was, 100 times worse than P. Diddy, but, they're all wicked at the end of the day, So, this is Isaiah chapter 28. Verse 14, it says, "Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem." Now, Diddy is not a leader amongst our people, as far as dictating things that goes on in the community, in the so-called community, but, he's the influence, and that's all the elites need. The leaders, and those celebrities, they're needed for influence, to influence our people into partaking in the system, to influence them to, believe in voting, with this whole music industry. They use those artists to influence our people to be into certain lifestyles, to accept, homosexuality, to accept lesbianism, to accept, doing drugs, to accept, committing crimes. This is the things that's being pushed in our music, adultery, and he's one of the main guys that was used to push this propaganda, back in the 90s, with Bad Boy Records, Big, the whole thing with Big and Pac and all of that, they played a major part. He played a major part in pushing this whole agenda among our people, to where now you have this whole, well, you always had it, but, it's more prevalent now, this whole gang culture, a whole bunch of depravity that and different lifestyles that he pushed, the things he was doing to, guys that wanted to come up in the industry, lacing up their drinks, and getting up in them, man, doing all types of foul shit. And they saying they have everything recorded, everything on camera. So that's why a lot of people in the industry, they're shooken up that, evidence might come out against them. You don't see them, none of them is speaking up for him or against him, because they all obviously partook of whatever lifestyle, he partook of. So it says, "Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement." Yes, so who's death and hell? We have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. So we have to get understanding of what it's talking about. This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." His soul that he is talking about Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, is saying their soul is not upright in them. When you look at their deeds, you could clearly see that this is not a normal group of people. That's why whenever when you were in high school, and even today in the world on social media, whenever somebody does something weird, they always say, "What? That's that white people shit," because they're a bunch of weirdos. They're a bunch of base, low people. Their soul is not upright in them. All the, depravity, that you could think of, they delight in it, man. So it says, yea, because he transgresseth by wine. His wine represents his philosophy. When you read all throughout the scriptures, wine is used as a word for philosophy. Because you get drunk off of it. Which makes your judgment impaired. So it says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. So that's how it's talking about the so-called white man, because when you go to Obadiah, it says the pride of your heart have deceived you. And also in Jeremiah, it calls Babylon as well as Esau, Edom. It compares Esau, Edom unto Babylon. It says that they're the most proud, the proudest nation to ever walk the earth, man. That's why their symbol is the eagle. So he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home. He's in everybody's lands, pushing his philosophies, his democracy, his religion, his agendas, going up to different countries like in Africa, jig countries, and trying to, get them to accept this rainbow agenda that they are trying to that they've been pushing over here in the West, So he doesn't keep at home. It says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death. Yes, so they enlarge this desire as hell. And the scriptures tell you that two things that can never be satisfied is the barren womb and hell, which hell represents the grave, the ground, So it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell. So he's never satisfied. He's always thinking of more oppression, how to steal more money. Here it is, they're already trillionaires, they have the world in the palm of their hands, and that's not enough. They want your soul on the chip. That's the main agenda. It says, and is as death. Yeah, so wherever they go, death follows, man. All the chemicals they put in the food, they spray death in the air in the form of the chemtrails, the vaccines that they shot up in people's veins, that's killing people. The chemical in the food, everywhere you turn, it's nothing but chemicals, Matter of fact, what was that thing called? Damn. I forgot the name of the document, but basically, I think it's the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, I believe. They go into what they plan for humanity, how they plan on poisoning them everywhere they turn. When they come to get healed, they're going to poison them more. When they go brush their teeth, they're going to get poisoned. Everywhere they turn, they're going to get poisoned, So he's as death and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. And that's what they do here in the West. All nations are welcomed, to worship whatever gods they want to worship. This place, America, is literally known as a melting pot because all 18 nations in the Bible are found here in the soils of America. So now we know what death is talking about in Isaiah 28. So let's go back to it. This is Isaiah 28, verse 15. It says, because he have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. And that's what these sellouts do. They make a covenant with the so-called white man. They get these contracts. They get the bag. They get told what they can speak and what they can't speak. They get told what agendas to push, in order to keep Israel in a perpetual downtrodden state, you know, because the elites, they understand that, in order for them to keep power, they have to keep Israel in a state of sin, you know, and the way they do that is by using the celebrities, the leaders as pawns to, make them think that certain things is okay to do, and they don't reprove them, which is what you're supposed to do as a leader, you know. That's why the scriptures say, for the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed. Esau understands that. This is chess being played, you know. He takes your leaders and he conquers them and, has them, dictate your way of life. And now he controls your mind. And it says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. Yeah, so they think that because, they so loud, they get all this money that, judgment is not going to come upon them. They don't think that, they don't have to suffer anymore. They done came from the hood. Everything is all good now. They got their money. They're at rest. A lot of them is, they already see what's coming down the pipe. Guys like Recourse, Genuine, or whatever you say that nigga name. But you see, they talking about bunkers, So they think they're going to get protected in the time of trouble because they think the white man is their friend. Meanwhile, he's your enemy. He's just using you. It says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. And that's what happened with Diddy, right? He thought he was invincible. All these decades of him doing all that wickedness. And finally, they came down on him. And the reason they came down on him is because he angered, the higher ups, He tried to sue, Diageo, that liquor company that owns a lot of liquor brands, He tried suing them for basically saying that they're not promoting his liquor brand Effin' Vodka as much as they did Casamigo, which I believe is the face of it is Robert De Niro. So after he did that is when these allegations start coming down against him, because from Esau's perspective, the so-called white man's perspective is they're looking like, nigga, we made you. You got the audacity to try to come and sue us? All right, watch this. Now they showing you the type of power they have, because best believe these guys that he got these deals from, these liquor brands, these TV deals from, these billionaires, they're all into that shit too. They all partook of his parties, probably paid, the feds to take their videos, their faces out of the investigation, but they done showed them, they done put him back in his place. Like, you still a nigga. We made you and we could destroy you. So it says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. And that's what these celebrities do. Behind the scenes, they live in a wicked lifestyle. They're partaking of, man with men, women with women, a human sacrifice, drinking of blood, eating of feces, This is the type of stuff they do behind the closed doors to keep their power. Because Satan, just like the Lord, he requires a sacrifice, Because everything the Lord does on the right hand, Satan does on the left. So their sacrifice is human sacrifice, drinking blood. Satan is the opposite of righteousness. So whatever the scripture says not to do, Satan is going to make you do it. That's his job. Satan means adversary, contrary to the Most High, even though he works for the Most High. But his job is to make people go off against the Most High, to gather up souls for the judgment day. That's Satan's job. It says, verse 16, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Bashimashah, behold, I lay in Zion a foundation, a stone, a tri-stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste. And that stone is speaking about Yahweh Shah. Matter of fact, it says it on top. Christ, the sure foundation, is promised, which it is a Mashiach, Yahweh Shah. So, the Lord gave us a true leader, amongst all of this madness, amongst all these sellouts, the Lord gave us a sure foundation, which is Yahweh Shah. You know, he had his son come on the scene 2,000 years ago, you know, had his ministry, you know, prophesied to the elect, you know, and had him die, had him be crucified, you know, and risen up, you know. And that's a sure foundation because everything that he said back then still applies to this day. That if you believe on him, as the scripture have said, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living water. You know, he that believeth on the Son shall see life. You know, everything that Yahweh Shah said back then applies today. That's why he's a sure foundation. You know, for eternity, man. Everything that's written about Yahweh Shah it has came to pass, as either came to pass and is going to come to pass. His second coming, you know, his rulership and dominion over the whole universe, you know, that's a sure foundation. So it says, verse 17, judgment also will I lay to the line and righteousness to the plummet. Yeah, so the Lord is going to measure everybody's wickedness. You know, the scriptures say everyone shall receive the things done in his body, whether it be good or evil. You know, man sow whatever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. It says, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. The hail represents Esau coming down. You know, the prophecies, Jacob's trouble. That's that hail. You know, so these celebrities, they starting to get judged. You know, don't be surprised if you see big names like Jay-Z get indicted, you know, or gets put to death. You know, and the elites, they're going to keep using these celebrities as pawns to distract people from what's going on. Because as of right now, Russia's obliterating Ukraine. You know, NATO admitted that defeat is basically is on the table. You know, pretty much the Ukrainians are about to lose, and now they're in the talks of allowing Ukraine to use missiles within Russia, which is pretty much a declaration of World War III. On top of what's going on in the Middle East, you know, cell phones exploding, devices exploding, you know, from cyber attacks, you know, and they're expecting much more of it, and even for it to come over here in the soils of the U.S., you know, the election. It's a lot going on, so Esau will use different things to distract people as much as possible, you know, just like during the time of Rome, when the empire was falling, you know, to distract the people from that fact, they would use bread and circuses, which is entertainment. And that's exactly what's happening right now. You got all types of movies coming out, all types of video games, you know, to numb people from, you know, the true, you know, from what's most important, which is the prophecies. So it says, judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. And that's what's happening with this guy Diddy. You know, the enemy came as a flood. They rushed him. The feds took all the tapes, everything, all the evidence that he kept, you know, as blackmail evidence. You know, now is being used as evidence against him. You know, now it's all coming out. You know, so it says, verse 18, and your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and that your agreement with hell shall not stand. So Jacob's trouble, you know, even, you know, this is beyond Diddy, you know. In Jacob's trouble, all these celebrities, they're going to get judged too, because they're still Jacob, you know. So all the millions of dollars that they made, all the hundreds of millions of dollars, the billions of dollars, you know, that ain't going to serve you nothing, because the economy is about to collapse anyways. So you might have, you know, $100 million in the bank, but that might be reduced down to a mere 100,000. Matter of fact, there's gonna be a bank run, so all the money you had in there is gonna be gone. Now you're gonna be a regular poor citizen, just like the rest of the world. But it's gonna be harder for the celebrities to roam around because they're celebrities, so everybody recognizes them, and they're gonna expect for you to have, you know, wealth, substance, even if you lose it all, you know. So your life is going to be in jeopardy. It says, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. So the white man ain't gonna be able to help you anymore. It says, when the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it. Jacob's trouble, y'all gonna be trodden down. You know, when World War III pops off, that money ain't gonna save you from nothing, man. The scriptures say, riches profit not in the day of wrath, with righteousness delivered from death. That's the true riches, man. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of your times and strength of salvation. The fear of Yahweh Bashim Yashah is his treasure. The fear of the Lord is the true riches, man. Because fearing the Lord results in you, keeping your life. Or even if you lose it, gaining it back when Yahweh Shah returns on the chariots, man. And this is the faith that our people refuse to believe in. They believe in carnality and money and things that they see. They can't, see past the physical, man. So it says, from the time that it goeth forth, it shall take you. From morning by morning shall it pass over, by day and by night, and it shall be a vexation only to understand the report. For the bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it, and the covering narrower than he can wrap himself in it. So that represents your money, your money, your trust in the so-called white man. The bed is shorter than that a man can stretch himself on it. So this is not a place of our rest. If you have a bed that's short, you're not getting a good sleep, and that money ain't enough. It can't get you out of every situation, man. And the covering narrower than he can wrap himself in it. So it's only so much that this money could do for you, and it's not even real money, man. It's monopoly money, so it's not gonna get you nowhere. So that's it on that. Now let's get this one. This is our First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. It says, "In those days went there out Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. But since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow." And Jake did that back then, and there's nothing new under the sun. They still doing it today. When these celebrities sign these contracts, that's them making a covenant with death and with hell, sacrificing their children, their family members, their friends for the sake of riches, That was always a thing that Israel did, man. So back in the time of the Maccabees, that's what they did, man. He persuaded many, saying, "Let us go up and make a covenant with the heathen." And this time, they're going to use our celebrities. Well, they're not our celebrities, but, Jake's celebrities to push this New World Order agenda, the microchip, the MOTB. They're going to use them, the Jay-Z's, the Beyoncé's, the different rappers and the different actors. They're going to use them to push the seer, Don't be surprised if you see a commercial come out with them having it in their hands and getting VIP access to certain areas for having it, getting on social media and trying to persuade people to take it. That's their job, man. They're lesser. Well, they're not really even part of the Illuminati. They're pawns of the Illuminati. The Illuminati is, the bankers. And then you have the lesser luminaries, which is those billionaires, the other connected Edomites, the other connected J-ish people, and the celebrities, they're just the bottom of the bottom, So back then, they tried to do the same thing as well, using Jake to cause other Jakes to go astray, like Eleazar, the high priest, They try to force him to eat swine, and he said no. And they said, you know what, you don't even got to eat it. Just act like you eating it. We're going to give you something else instead of the swine. Just act like you're eating it and let them people see you so they could do it too. And he refused, He said he'd rather die because he don't want to, all that blood on his hands and stain his reputation because he had integrity, man. But Jake today has no integrity. They don't care. They only care about themselves. They They want to make it out, so fuck everybody else. They're gonna step over their own people to make it to the top. And the top amongst us is the bottom for these elites, man. You know? So it says, so this device pleased them well. Yeah, so, they're all in agreement. All these celebrities, you see them at these different awards, all of them saying, they're having a good time, and, behind the scenes, they worship demons, They're part of the Black Boule, they do voodoo, they worship different demons to, allow them to keep the status that they have, and that's how Esau keep them in check. Because, once Esau has them in check, that means they have the nation in check, because they don't got to control every single Israelite. All they need is the top amongst us, the people that our people look up to as idols, that they worship, And now look at black culture now, man. How do you think we got to the point that we're at, to where we glorify murder, we glorify whoredom, we glorify, anything that's not good, It was strategic, man. It says, then certain of the people that were forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen, whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. Yes, so they made themselves physically uncircumcised. They put the flesh back on their rod. But this time around, Israel's doing that in their minds. Let's see if I can find that scripture. How does it go? How does it go? Damn. Okay. This is Ezekiel chapter 44 and 9. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shall power. No stranger uncircumcised in heart, nor uncircumcised of flesh shall enter into my sanctuary of any stranger that is among the children of Israel. Right? So, if you uncircumcised in heart, meaning what? Your mind is not cultivated. Your mind, doesn't have Yahweh Shah pretty much. No uncircumcised in the flesh, which, brothers should be circumcised in the flesh, because we have to keep the Passover, So, it's up to brothers, between brothers and the Lord, to when they want to make that step, but, it's a lot of brothers that done took that step. It's not easy, but it's something, that needs to be done. And, if it doesn't happen, then, hey, man, we're going to get new bodies anyways, So that's not the one I was actually looking for. That's not it. Is that it? Okay, yeah, that is it. This is Jeremiah 9:26. Egypt and Judah. Matter of fact, let's see what it says before. This is Jeremiah 9:25. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Shah, that I will punish all them which are circumcised with the uncircumcised, Egypt and Judah and Edom, and the children of Ammon and Moab, and all that are in the utmost corners. Yeah, the day of the Lord, like it says, the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen. Judgment day is judgment upon all nations. It says that dwell in the wilderness, for all these nations are uncircumcised, and all the house of Israel are uncircumcised in the heart. Yeah, so our people, they're uncircumcised in the heart. They don't have knowledge, They're the dry bones, the valley of the dry bones. They don't have knowledge of self. They don't have knowledge of their power. They don't have, knowledge of salvation, So they're uncircumcised in heart. They haven't gotten that, that flesh removed, that bad flesh. you know. So yeah, that was pretty much it on this lesson. I hope this was edifying. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Chakodash. Peace and double honor to the apostles, the elders of GMS, to give us his truth and all his purity. And salutations to all you occupants in this word throughout the four corners of the earth, in sincerity and the truth. Shalom.